A Russian Sukhoi Su-35S Flanker E has been destroyed in combat, apparently, by a Soviet-origin 9K-37 Buk air defense system used by Ukraine. The fighter jet was hit and shot down in the sky over the Izium region in eastern Ukraine, about 120 kilometers or 75 miles from Kharkiv. The pilot ejected but was captured by the Ukrainian armed forces. According to reports, the Su-35S Flanker E was on an SEAD suppression of enemy air defenses mission and armed with KH-31P air-to-surface missile, which is used as an anti-radiation weapon. SEAD missions are carried out to knock out radars and surface-to-air missile systems. In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why even Russia's most lethal operational fighter jet, Su-35, is taken out in Ukraine. Let's get started. This video is sponsored by NordVPN. NordVPN is a premium VPN service available for macOS, iOS, Windows, and Android with more than 5,400 servers in 60 countries. But why use a VPN or virtual private network? VPN is an encrypted tunnel. A VPN can protect your privacy, which is threatened by many factors like data logging by internet service providers. It can also help you access contents which are blocked based on geolocation. Why NordVPN? Its servers are fast and has zero log policy. Not only this, NordVPN has taken one step further and recently introduced a new feature, Threat Protection. Threat Protection prevents malware from getting on users' devices and blocks trackers, intrusive and malicious ads, and harmful websites. Use the link in the description to get up to 71% off the 2-year plan plus Threat Protection for no extra cost. At the checkout, use the code DEFENSE to get an extra month for free. The Sukhoi Su-35 is a single-seat, twin-engine, heavyweight, super-maneuverable aircraft designed by the Sukhoi Design Bureau and built by the Komsomolsk-on-Amur aircraft plant. The aircraft is being considered to be a 4++ generation fighter. The type was originally developed by the Soviet Union from the Su-27 and was known as the Su-27M. It incorporated canards and a multi-function radar, giving it multi-role capabilities. The first prototype made its maiden flight in June 1988. Following the dissolution of the Soviet Union, Sukhoi redesigned it as the Su-35 to attract export orders. In 2003, Sukhoi embarked on a second modernization of the Su-27 to serve as an interim aircraft awaiting the development of the Sukhoi PAK-FA Su-57 program. Also known as the Su-35, this version has a redesigned cockpit and weapons control system and features thrust vectoring engines in place of the canards. The type made its first flight in February 2008. Although it was designed for export, the Russian Air Force became the launch customer in 2009 with the production version designated Su-35S. The aircraft has a top speed of Mach 2.25, and it can carry a variety of air-to-air and air-to-ground weapons. In January 2016, Russia made the first combat deployment of the Su-35 when it sent a fleet of 4 aircraft to Syria. Since Sukhoi Su-57 is still not operationally deployed yet, Su-35S is considered to be the premier fighter jet in the Russian inventory. Let us now check 3 potential reasons for its downing. (9K-37 Buk, NATO reporting name SA-11 Gadfly) is a pretty old system. Although it's seen many upgrades, it has its origin in the 1970s. It seems Russians haven't still learned the lesson from the 2008 Georgia War, during which they were unable to counter Soviet-era air defense systems that they had designed themselves. The Su-35S is relatively new, less than 10 years old, having been introduced into service only in 2014. It wasn't in service 14 years ago during the Georgia War, and it's expected that such a new frontline fighter would incorporate the learnings and be able to counter Soviet-era air defense systems, but it's evident that's not the case. It can be safely predicted that if the Russian fighter faces a modern Western SAM system designed from the ground up to counter Russian aircraft, the situation would be worse. The self-defense suite in the Su-35S, which includes the Kibini electronic countermeasure system, needs significant work. The West tends to invest heavily in sophisticated protection systems for its fighters. For example, the French Rafale features an integrated defensive aid system named Spectra, which protects the aircraft against airborne and ground threats. Various methods of detection, jamming, and decoying have been incorporated. It is to be noted that 30% of the cost of the entire aircraft has been devoted to radar and self-protection equipment. Official Russian military statements suggest that Russian pilots fly a bit under 100 hours a year, compared to U.S. Air Force pilots who fly around 180 to 240 hours a year. Without enough training, pilots would likely not be at the top of their games. SEAD are some of the most challenging missions, and any chinks will likely be exposed. While Russians may be good at engaging fixed targets, the dynamic environment they're up against when faced with mobile air defense systems needs a unique skill set to deal with. It's interesting to note that American pilots who fly SEAD missions undertake specialized training to hone their capabilities. Western pilots also take part in large-scale, multinational exercises like Red Flag, which are organized several times a year. It has to be understood that fighter jets can be shot multiple times during a mission. It can also happen that at a given instance, several missiles may be incoming simultaneously. These may even be of different types. The economics is such that SAM have an upper hand. A missile in a SAM system is a fraction of the cost of a fighter jet. For example, a Su-35S will cost more than $50 million. And even a Patriot PAC-3 missile, which is considered to be one of the costliest ones, is around $3 million. The cost of a missile in the Buck system is much cheaper, and hence it will still be a win if multiple are expended to neutralize a single multi-million-dollar aircraft. So what the older generation SAM system may lack in quality could, to some extent, be made up with quantity. The Russian Air Force can't take these lightly.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more videos like this. Hit the like button if you find the video interesting, and kindly provide your feedback in the comment section. This will help us improve.